Alright, good morning everybody. I am Sega Star, and we're going to be playing Uniracers today. But before we get down to business, I need to find out, I had an incentive for our file name. Do we know what the chosen file name was?
It looks like it was a tie between Tails and Pace.
Oh, fun. That's pretty convenient. Very relevant. I need to figure out how we're going to break that tie unless we get a donation in before this run starts to help me break it. But if not, I can compromise somehow. We can just do a choice, or we can flip a coin.
I can get a coin flip here if you would like.
So, all right. Pace will be heads, and Tails is obviously Tails. So, easy peasy.
All right, I'll do a flip here. Looks like it landed on heads.
Okay, so Pace is going to be our chosen name. But first, before we do that, I'm going to show off just a little Easter egg I love to show off in this game. So, if I wanted to name myself Sega because my name is Sega Star, something funny happens. Game tells me I'm not cool enough. So, already, we're having a good time already. But we don't need to do that. So, let me just get out of this menu real quick and we will start the run. So, basically how this game works is that all these unicycles here are basically just palette swaps of each other. They're all the same. There's no difference in stats. They're all individual files. So, I went ahead and chose this one for Pace. So, how this works is we're going to just start here on our first set of tracks. 5 each. 1, 2. These arrows are single races. These are laps here on the arrows, and the middle one is a stunt course. I will explain those when we get there. So, time is going to start as soon as I hit here on race in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So this is the first stage. It's called Dragster. Just a straight line, and we're going to show off kind of how this game moves. This game is all about building up speed. If you ever played like Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, or anything like that, the more tricks we do, we keep building up our speed. So, and now once we get to a certain point, I'm going to, by moving the D-pad back and forth, you can kind of hold back and then go forward, and you build up a little bit of speed like that. And with that, we're already through the first track. So next is called Zoom Zoo. This is our first 3-lap track. Pretty fun one here. So I'm going to try to show off kind of how this game works. We do tricks in the air by pressing various button combinations. And the more that we do, the faster speed boost that we get when we land. So a big part of this game is all about building up your speed and landing those tricks. So just like that. And see that the more that we do, the faster we go. Now right there, I was able to skip a section there, so I was able to just land on it and go a bit faster. And as you can see, as we're going along the track, there's different colors. And each of those colors kind of represents something that's going on in the track. So like green is like your straightaways. That kind of like blackish there, that was an arrow that pulls you forward. And then we're coming up on the red and purple there. That means you're coming up on a big curve there. So a big part of this game is learning kind of the layouts as best as you can. You don't need to memorize them like 100%. That's kind of hard. But the better you can memorize them, the easier it is to get a good time. So now we're on to our first kind of stage I like to call like something that actually is related to the stage. This is called Switcher. This game has a 2-player multiplayer mode, and this is like one of the few tracks that kind of take advantage of it. So we're just going to be like kind of when that track ends there, it kind of means like it's splitting up, so it's kind of important to try to hit that, but we're chilling. So kind of like here, we're just kind of moving along. Nope, missed it. Alright, we're good. I do gotta say, this soundtrack is really good. So if you're ever playing this game, like, just enjoy the soundtrack. It is so good. And the main way I'm moving is I'm kind of doing what's called a roll twist. And that's like one of the fastest ways that you can move. It's like your main way that you want to go on the straightaways. So now I'm going to try to do the back and forth thing I showed earlier. And as you can kind of see, he goes faster. So that was pretty good. Now we're on our other lap track of this first set of tracks called Monster. Now we're going to do something kind of fun here. And I'll just let the gameplay speak for itself. Oops. Ooh, come on. There we go. Now you might be asking, why am I doing this? Well, any Mario Kart fans out there? Because we just broke the checkpoints. This is actually faster than doing this stage the normal way. By at least 2 seconds. So as long as we do that, we will beat this stage a lot faster than the CPU can. Because we're on what's called 6 bronze medals. That's the category. I kind of forgot to mention that. Which is where we play against the bronze CPU, which is considered the easiest CPU out of the 4 that you can go against in the game. So. And with that, we're about to finish up, and then we'll be going to our first stunt course. Yeah, so that was a 117. Like, if you do the stage normally, you can maybe get like a 120. So it's well worth learning how to do that. So next is our first stunt course. This is a unique course in the game. There's one per each set of tracks, where instead of racing, we gotta do points. So I just kind of going through our button combinations, the shoulder buttons. You can do like flips, twists, rolls. A button is a twist. Like, it's just kind of fun to just kind of mess around with these button combinations. You can get all sorts of stuff. So, do we have any donations or anything to read, or are we good? If not, continue to support our charity that we're running for Urban Arts. They're a great group of people. Donate for the awesome prizes that we have. So, and now we move on to the second set of tracks. But first, we get to see a nice little cutscene of our collecting the metal. It's so funny. Sentient unicycles. Alright, so next is Looper. This is a kind of a fun track where we get to see a lot of elevation. So the goal is to try to kind of go down these ramps as cleanly as possible, while also noting the changes in the track. Kind of like that. If you're a fan of racing games, this is one to definitely check out. It's an underrated classic in my opinion. And if you do cool tricks like 4 in a row, you get like some cool catchphrase, and they're all different between the unicycles, so it's kind of funny to see what they are. Like this one says like I'm sure. There's like one that says like galactic. Like they're all like weird references, I would say. But there we go. Nice. That was good. So next is Mega Jump, and it's one of those stages that has a title related to what we're doing, so we're going to be jumping. So one of the things I like to do is I like to count the amount of jumps that are on a straightaway, and then the next point in the track comes up. You can actually do a kind of a hard trick on this stage and actually kind of skip like going around like that bend there earlier, but it's really hard and I haven't learned it yet. But my fellow Uniracers runner Fly, he knows how to do it. Shoutouts to Fly. Alright, so we're going to finish this right up and we're moving right on to our next one. Ooh, 110's pretty good. I like that. Alright, so next is Flat Fun. This is a pretty simple stage. You might be asking, why do I skip the stunt course? It's just a preference. I like to do that one last. Just easier. No, come on. These are loops that you can go through. There is a way to kind of skip some of them, but it's really tricky. You have to like hit a certain point in the track and skip it. Mostly ILs kind of thing. Alright, we got a little shortcut coming up here. I'm going to try to hit it. Saves about 2 seconds if I can get it. Ah, just missed it, but we're chilling. I just didn't quite jump across far enough. So. Not too bad. Next is probably kind of an interesting track. It's called Infinity. Because you're just going around in a big loop. The stage is surprisingly kind of challenging. Like, it can throw you off if you're not careful. I'm going to try to do it without too much issue. Oh, like, come on. See, we caught right back up. Easy peasy. I did almost forget to mention, I do have a incentive for this run to go against the hardest CPU in the game at the end. And so if you want to see me do that, please put in a couple donations towards that. Come on. Oh no. I do not want to lose. And we lost. That's okay. We'll bring it right back. I'm not good at talking and playing. That means we just get to listen to more music, so I'm down for that. Just gonna play it a little safer. Come on, game. Alright, I think we got it. Alright, cool. We got it. Now we're on our second stunt course, so we're just moving right along. Yeah, as you go through the game and go against the higher CPUs, these point values that you need to obtain go up. So that's kind of where the game's difficulty can come from. These CPUs are not, like, once you get to the harder ones, they are not easy. That's why I feel this game has a very satisfying skill ceiling. Once you learn how it plays, it is so satisfying to just mess with. And with that, we're already on to our next group of tracks. Can't really skip the end of these, we just have to wait it out. Let's see, let's get 100. There we go. I'm feeling good. 100. Alright, now we're probably on to some of my favorite tracks, the third group, where all the tracks are just pretty much really fun to go with. So just skip the cutscene here, and we're on. Alright, next is Drag Race, not to be confused with Dragster. And I'm going to take advantage of some of these big hills here to get a lot of speed. So. Now this part coming up here is really interesting. I'm going to try to avoid getting a bounce, and just like that I was able to just go right down that hill. That's about the fastest you can do that. So I'm very satisfied with that. Sub 36 is good on that stage, so I will take that every day of the week. Next is ping pong. Anybody up for some ping pong? This stage is just full of loops, kind of short track, not too much going on. So I guess that's why they call it ping pong. You're just getting thrown around. Alright, so that's about probably the fastest you can go through a loop without skipping it. So that's pretty helpful. Oop, little bounce there, we're good. Nice. Alright. So next is hybrid, pretty fun stage to... I've done some ILs in this a lot. It's a lot of downhill stuff, so we're going to try to get a lot of speed. Oh, wiped out. We're good. Yeah, if I also hit the X button in the air, I can also do what's called Z flips and tabletops. It's just more tricks to the arsenal. Especially on those stunt courses, all the tricks you do matter. 3302, we'll take that. That stage is weird. Like, you can do like the same thing almost every time, and the time is always like way different. Don't really know why. Next is called Shortcut. Pretty self-explanatory. There's going to be a shortcut. Some of these track names are bizarre. But then you got some that actually make sense. So I'm going to try to hit... Oh, come on. We got it. We'll get it next time. Alright, let's see. Can we get it this time? Alright, we got it. There we go. Let's go. And a lot of this game's optimization comes from just finding like little ways that you can just add more tricks while you're going along. So, like all the little twists and roll twists that you see me doing, that's just me adding more optimization to each of these tracks. This game has a long history. Alright, so that... Now we're on to another stunt course, our third one. Hill climb. We gotta get 90. It's not too bad. One of the easiest ways to get points right off the bat in a stunt course is to just... Come on. Trying to get the right spot. Let's just basically do that. You get like 38, 36 points like right off the bat. Really convenient. And just a couple... And just like that, we are at the amount. Because on one of my previous marathon attempts, I did one of the stunt courses, and I didn't have enough points. So I had to remind myself to make sure I do it. And with that, we're already halfway through the run. Next is probably got some of my favorite courses. I know I already said that before, but this next group is probably like some of my favorite. So first is called Wario Paint. That's a great name for a track, I think. And I forgot to mention, if you hold the Y button at the beginning of a race, you can build up speed before you start the race. It's pretty helpful. Fun fact about this track recently had the record in it beaten after 17 years. So that was pretty cool. So Fly and I were working on this one for a while, and he finally broke it. So shout out to him once again. Alright, we'll take that. Low 52. Alright, so... next is Croc. Like, probably the most bizarre name in the game, I think. Just doesn't really make a lot of sense. But this is a game about racing unicycles, so does it really make any sense? Not really. This track just has just a little bit of everything. So it's kind of a fun one to play. Oh, got a little greedy there. Just bouncing all over. Excuse me, tired. Never done a 5 a.m. run, so this is a first. Hope y'all are enjoying it so far. All right. All right. Next is East. What a name. Kind of similar to the one we did earlier, Flat Fun, but it's slightly different layout. 2, 3, 4. There we go. This one also has a shortcut in it a little later in the track. See if I can hit that one. Nice, got it. Come on. Alright, we'll take that. Alright, next is probably my favorite track, and here's a fun fact. I actually just broke the record on this track here at Pace, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I got the first sub 58 on this track. That was hard. So I'm gonna try to show off a little bit of how I did it. This is probably the most technical track in the game, I would say, just by a standpoint of how many actions you have to do. Like adding that twist right there, that is super difficult. Like in the middle of these. So. Yep, that's okay. I'm getting a little greedy. Shouldn't be doing that. Alright. Yeah, I'm using like specific visual cues to kind of add those twists in, and that's really difficult. So happy I got that time that I wanted. All right, now is our next stunt course, Downer. What a name. This is actually, I think, one of the hardest stunt courses in the game, because once you get to like the higher difficulties, this thing asks for you to get 400 points in like 45 seconds, which is just insane. And that is one of the reasons why I've only run this category currently, because the later difficulties get just kind of annoying with these point requirements. So. Let's see if we can at least get 200. There we go. Alright, I'll take over 200. Gnarly. That is my thoughts exactly. And with that, we are on to our 5th set of tracks. Alright, next is called Wobble. Kind of a fun track, just kind of a little similar to one of our earlier tracks and just a little different layout. That's one thing I do like about this game. Like, some tracks actually take like little like inspirations from each other and add upon the concept. So I think that's a unique thing that they do. Kind of like prepares you for like the later stuff. But some of these later tracks just get kind of just crazy. Kind of interesting what they did with just 2D designs. So. I think this game is very 90s inspired with all these like catchphrases. The devs were huge fans of Sonic, so I believe that's where they got the inspiration for this game. So that's pretty cool. I mean, and I'm running Sonic later, so that's pretty cool too. Next is Twin Peak. Shout out the series, I guess. Never watched it. And here we're just basically just doing like 2 big jumps per lap. It's nothing too crazy. So as long as we get enough speed and we are well ahead of the CPU. So just like that. And like, wow, so cool. Yeah, this game is so much fun. I would definitely recommend if anyone's interested in checking this game out, please do. It is a lot of fun. Like, if you like a good like racing game and a game that you can play for a while and get good at, this is right in that alley. This is like the first, like, I think, like, big in-person marathon that this game has gotten, and I am so happy to show it. Alright, next is our another racetrack, and if you remember kind of our checkpoint shenanigans earlier, we're going to be doing it again. But this time on a single racetrack. Don't know how that works, but it does. So, this one's pretty easy. And this one saves at least 2 to 3 seconds, so it's definitely worth going for. So we just do first big trick off the ramp. Second one. 2 roll twist. Hit the checkpoint, and we go right back. Ooh, sub 37. Let's go. I don't get that very often. So nice that we got it in a marathon. Let's go. Next is small cut. This is a fun stage. This is all about how tight can you make your corners. There's a part of the stage where you have to be pretty. If you want a good time, you got to be like willing. You got to like basically stop yourself like right there. That's harder to do. So. And this is one of the unique tracks that has 5 laps. There aren't. I think this is the only one I think in the game that has 5. It's hard to remember right now. Oop, come on. There we go. Alright, now we're on to our second to last stunt track. This one is called Sky, or it's kind of similar to Downer, but a little slightly different. Not as many point requirements, thank goodness. We're just going to go and just kind of get this out of the way, and then we'll be on our last set of tracks. Do we have any donations, anything like that to bring up? Now would be a good time. Alright, we're just gonna finish this up. And we'll just stay right here. Alright, off to our last set of tracks. Alright, first track of this one is called Last One. Funny name. It's got a cool little mechanic where, like, right at the beginning of the track, there's a shortcut, and it's kind of hard to hit, so I'm going to try to hit it. And it involves, like pulling back on your D-pad, and we hit it, so awesome. It's kind of tough to hit that. You don't really know it's there, like, unless you notice it, so... Alright. Nope. Didn't mean to wipe out there, but I did. Alright, we'll take 40. Alright, next is Marathon. This is kind of just a simple, like, go-around loop track. Nothing too crazy. Well, the beginning can be kind of tricky. Cause it's like all these like little short hops, so you gotta always don't want to get caught up in those too much. And that little part there can be kind of tricky because you're not you do it optimally. You have to like stop yourself. See. There we go. Yeah, if you can try to get a flip twist off of that, it's pretty helpful. Oops. Alright, next is kind of a fun little track called Plinky. Kind of a short track, but the IL for this level is absurd. I'm not even going to attempt that strat. It is just insane. But we'll do it the normal way. No big deal. I kind of like this track because it kind of just has like a lot of like elements that we've seen so far. So it's kind of like a really cool like see what you've learned. $33.72. That was nice. All right, next is probably the track that people who run this category don't like. It's called Jump Over. So I'm gonna try to do it as best as I can. Let's go. Getting 5 in a row is like really hard. So I'm happy I landed that. Especially because it's right at the end of these runs and it's like sweet. And with that, we're on our last stun track and the end of the run. So last but not least, we're on Circle. 63 points and the run is over. Well, once the time goes out, that is. Alright, let's see. Alright. Time will be as soon as the timer on the screen ends and you see where it flashes up and it'll say winner. That's when time will be. So and time is now. And that is Uniracer 6 bronze. So, and then I'll show off our little friend dancing with the medal. So, with that, did we? I don't know if we hit that incentive to show off the hard CPU or not. All right. Okay, no problem. Maybe another time I can show it off. It's pretty fun. There's like a whole like final tracks or 5 tracks, and you go up against a CPU that does like all sorts of craziness to you. So with that, I'm SegaStar. You can find me on Twitch, SegaStar1. I speedrun different games. I speedrun a Hello Kitty game, a Disney game, a Mario game, a Sonic game, and this. So if you come back a couple hours from now, I will be doing Sonic Adventure DX as well. So please tune into that. And with that, I think we're done. So thank you, Pace. Thank you for having me. This was awesome. I'm tired. So I'm going to try to go sleep before I have to be back in 5 hours. So, all right. That is that.